answering the question what an entrepreneur or entrepreneurship is very simple. But I think most of us really misunderstand that concept. I too was ignorant about it. Entrepreneurship is not being a boss of your own or just being able to sell without giving accountability. That's not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is finding complex problems and solving them in a simple way, or put differently, providing simple solutions to complex problems unique to the times that we are. That's entrepreneurship. If you are able to locate a problem and not just locating the problem, you find solution to it in alignment with the times that we are. For example, if someone can find a solution for the educational system of Nigeria, that's an entrepreneur. And that makes an entrepreneur not to be static in his thinking. He has to be evolving, because as the time evolves, different issues also arise. And like I said in a presentation some weeks ago, that while you are about to solve another problem, in a bit of solving that problem, or in a bit to solve that problem, you're actually creating another one. So it makes the works of entrepreneurs to be very dynamic and always evolving. So that's, in a simple term, that's what entrepreneurship stands for.
Okay. So which is to say that they are solution providers. In just a summary, that's who they are. Okay. But how aware is the entrepreneur or the average Nigerian entrepreneur aware of this? Being a solution provider, with what it's worth, means that you have certain powers, influences, controls, and what have you. But then, if I go a little deeper, several statistics or survey has shown that a lot of our entrepreneurs don't even have the basic orientation that is helping them. So that's why the conversation about helping them survive better to some persons is a joke, because we're not supposed to talk about helping them survive. They should know how to survive. So how do you reconcile that opinion and what it truly is?
Let me come from two perspectives. One, I think that's the work of the government. That's where the government needs to come in. Because it's like saying, my child washes the plates or does the dishes at home, but he or she breaks the plates every time. You don't say because the child breaks the plates, so the child shouldn't wash again. So you have to step in, make adequate structures, training, to be able to guide that child from knowing when not to wash, how to wash, and what to do. But the job is still done. So if you say entrepreneurs are not aware of this, that doesn't mean they are not providing solutions. They are still providing solutions. I came in and I heard you talk about small businesses. Actually, in a first world country, any first world country, the economy of that country is run by medium-term entrepreneurs. All over the world, whenever you hear capitalism is not about the big companies. No, it's about the solutions that are provided by medium or small business scales that evolve into an industry that we call capitalism. It's not about just 1% of how many big companies do we have in the world that can provide solutions to the complex problems of the world? We don't. The guys around in the runabout in every city, those are the guys that the government should actually empower. Not just empowering in resources, but empowering in knowledge also. And create the necessary infrastructure. I hope we would have the time going on in this program to really talk about the infrastructural gap that is bringing the difference, or that brings a dichotomy between a first world country entrepreneur and a third world country entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we'll get to that, hopefully. Amazing. But then, at the beginning, I did chip in a question, which is, at the beginning or the advent of small businesses, entrepreneurship and all, it came with a lot of glorifying expectations and perspective about it.
All right.
And then, unfortunately, the pandemic struck and kind of shook everything that we thought we know to its core. Now, there were still some hopes that were maintained, especially with the whole dynamic nature of entrepreneurship to the fact that you could work from home, the digital thingy, and the fact, like I said, that in some businesses you don't even need to have a physical space.
Amazing.
But yet, almost 2 years after, it looks like the survivor or the comeback expectation is not really happening. And that what brought up the question about what I asked about.
Is it still glorious?
Yes, is it as wonderful? And, you know, the possibilities that it has being an entrepreneur then, is it still possible? Is those possibilities still existent? Or are we looking at something that we had a lot of expectations on, and now that with the realities, it may not be as wonderful as we expect?
Well, it depends on the divide you are standing and where you're coming from. The people that are like a decade older than me would always say that things were not as expensive as this in their time. So I used to ask them, would we go back to your time? And they say no. I say, why? They say, the things that they can do, someone like my grandma can actually call someone on phone without necessarily having to write a letter. Of course, she can't write, asking someone to write. You can stay for years without seeing someone. I mean, those were the Stone Ages. Yes, it's true that things were better at that time, but that doesn't mean that we have to go back to those past. The same thing, entrepreneurship may have looked glorious because the people, it may have looked glorious to a set of people, and now it is not looking glorious again to a set of people. That's why I say it depends on the divide you are coming from or you are standing. Now, why it seems not glorious is because some people have been complacent. The last time I came on show, I made a statement here that change is noiseless. Entrepreneurs in Nigeria need to understand the difference between what is happening and what is going on. What is happening are the events they see. Oh, COVID has taken over. Oh, there is lockdown. Oh, I can't travel again. Dollar has increased. That's what is happening.
Inflation.
Those are events. Thank you. The policies, those are circumstances that would always happen. Now, what is going on is what they are not seeing, which is change. Change is noiseless. And before you know it, the place you thought you were standing, you would look back in the next 5 years and realize you have actually retrogressed. Now, entrepreneurs need to understand that the world has moved from offline to online. I've said this countless times. I've said this on radio with you, and I've said this on TV also. The world has moved from the offline space to the online space, and we have to align with that. You can sit down and say, oh, the dollar is this, there are plenty infrastructural gaps. That's true. But the question is, do you want to be correct or you want to progress? Being correct would say, the Nigerian government cannot fix electricity. You are correct. But do you actually progress with that statement? No, you don't. So now, talking about online, we need to understand that the online space has become the front door, not just the back door.
Oh, alternative.
Yes, it's no more an alternative. It is the thing. So you have to see the online space as where you are bringing your product from to show, not just to show, you do business from the online space. Pre-COVID, what we had before was that you will come online and advertise your product and tell people, come to so and so place, the physical location, and buy. But post-COVID, what you have now is you take those products to the online space and you sell there. What does that mean? It means that while you were online before COVID and enjoying the space, say, okay, I'm the one that is having this whole space, I'm online, I'm this. There were skillful people, maybe better than you, that were not on the online space for whatever reason. But post-COVID, either by fault or default, everyone has come online. People that are better than you in resources, in skill, in structures. Now they are coming online to share that same space with you. What does that pose as a challenge to entrepreneurs in Nigeria? It brings the concept of preference as against customer satisfaction before. So what customers had before, I'm satisfied with Amazing. Oh, Amazing does a good job. That's because their options were few. The only person they knew was Amazing and you, and me. But now we have 1,000 other people that are doing better jobs than Amazing. Now, what does that mean? I could just stay in my house. I said, okay, I'm not coming to the studio today. Amazing invited me. But man, the stress of dressing up, driving all the way, the traffic. There is another person that is online. Man, now that's my preference. It determines who I'm supposed to patronize at the time. So even as a church, any business organization, you need to understand that you are not a hospital, for instance, using technology. I said this, I think 2 years ago, that the same way we had democracy is going to move to technocracy. Technocracy is a system of business that is ruled by technology and technocrats. Now, what that means is that you don't see yourself as a business using technology. I'm going to explain. You don't see yourself as an event company using technology to serve your people. No. You don't see yourself as a hospital using technology. Pre-COVID, you would have seen yourself that way. You don't see yourself as maybe a broadcasting company using technology. No. The world can see you that. But you see yourself as a technological company using that technology to serve people. That's how entrepreneurs need to see this. Because if you don't see this, you are still going to fight with the idea of, I'm supposed to come online. No, tell them to come to the office. Let them come to the office. And banks have moved. Just last week, I saw the video how someone stayed in France and diagnosed someone in Mexico and actually treated the person. So now the work of an entrepreneur needs to understand that times have changed and we need to move online. There is no two way about it. We need to move. I had a client that after the COVID, she called me and she was so excited. I said, wow, how are you so excited? He said, yes, that business is going to start again. Now, to her, what it means is that she's going to unfold her physical presence and now start business. But 2 weeks along the line, she called again and complained. Hi, Etido, what am I supposed to do? I said, okay, what were your structures? What were your models? He said, I just opened business as normal now. I said, no. You see what I said? Change is noiseless. Change will not come and announce itself and say, here am I, change, I've come. No, it doesn't. You would only feel the impact of change, but the announcement of change, you wouldn't feel it. So entrepreneurs need to understand that times have changed and not just understanding that they need to align their business structures and models to fit in with the time. And that means that we have to use the online space, not just by fault, by default. It should be part of our investment plans as entrepreneurs.
All right. So that means that I was about to say, what you just said is so proactive, but you've actually touched some areas and all. But then I will try to rephrase the initial question I wanted to ask you by bringing it this way. It is being established that there is some sort of interrelationship or inter-exchange between large and small businesses. And at this point, small businesses are very crucial to the survival of large. But then if I pick up something from what you said about online being the new change, the front door and all, for instance, a big company like Amazon had sales crunch during the Christmas season. Not because they were not innovative and all, but there was problems with delivery. As a result of the latest outbreak or the COVID outbreak and all, there were no delivery men to supply the orders of people. Would there have been a way that they could have sent it online and it would get into the doors of people? So, for instance, Amazon had quite some losses that it's never had in a very long time because the physical factor was challenged because of some realities. So now, with such a situation, we're still talking about interrelationship. Are you know, the argument is about why we're going all innovative and everything. What about the realities, the physical realities that no matter how we go all innovative and digital, we cannot run away from? And if possible, connect it with, you know, highlighting some of the infrastructural gap that needs to be addressed.
Now, yes, that's true to an extent that Amazon recorded some losses. But again, the full story is that they had better losses than they have had in 20 years. Amazon, I mean. I was actually running away from mentioning brands, but since you brought them,
well, it's not like we're going to do an average, but I had to use that because of the emphasis of big businesses who are doing it right.
Yeah. Whenever you see or you hear about ideas and products, the next thing any entrepreneur should think of is the supply chain. How are these ideas going to be supplied to the end user? Amazon had that initial challenge, but subsequently, they were able to establish distributors in the cities that were expecting to deliver. So what did they do? They would tell the distributor, can you provide this and this, or can you produce this and this and this? And they said yes. Now, instead of being the manufacturer, they now became the middlemen, which they are better at doing. So that if you are ordering anything, let's say from Lagos or from Port Harcourt, they will find someone that is distributing in that city and tell you, okay, there is a pickup point, go and pick, and you pay the money to them. They share the profit with the other people. That's how they made better profit. Now, when you say that they are still going to be challenged, of course they should be challenges. Just like I asked, do you want to be correct or you want to be progressive? Talking about the infrastructural gap, one of them is internet. The way an entrepreneur in the first world country sees the internet is quite different from the way an entrepreneur or an average Nigerian sees internet. When I mean the first world country, of course, I'm talking about countries that have better indices of growth than Nigeria. I think there are about 5 or so. I may not have them at my fingertips now. I can't really get them now with a flow of thought. But there are first world countries and there are third world countries. Nigeria, unfortunately, falls under the third world country. Now, how do those people see the internet? They see the internet as an ocean that they can do anything they want to do, or they see it as an highway that they can drive, create anything they want to create on that highway without restrictions. But when you come back to any third world country, specifically Nigeria that I'm talking about now, they see the internet, which is a major tool to express yourself online or express your idea online. They see the internet as a bottle of water that will soon finish. So if someone is watching us online now, the person as is watching is checking *13*1# to check the MB left. But the first world country don't know whether my data is finished, my data I'm supposed to buy. They don't care. Now they wake up with beautiful ideas and they execute it at the speed of light without any inhibition. You can't compare a third world country entrepreneur with somebody in Brazil that doesn't know anything. Oh, I don't have data. Okay, send me a file. Okay, wait, let me. The first time before I started working on my own personal infrastructure, I decided that I have to change this. I had an international client and she said, okay, please, can you send me a video of you? And thank God I didn't use that excuse, but I delayed. I said, okay, I'm having some difficulty here. Then the person said, please just send it. She mentioned a particular app that I need to use. Me downloading that app on its own took the whole of my data subscription that I got. Now, but to them, that's not a problem. But to me, just downloading the app, it's a problem. Talk less of sending the video. Now, what am I trying to say? Someone could just wake up at night and have a business idea, and you go on your laptop, the laptop is dead. PCN has gone. Okay, you now now you are thinking, how am I going to on my generator at this time of the night? Am I going to disturb the neighbors? Even me myself, I don't even like that noise. But now these are the challenges that we have in Nigeria. But however, it goes back to what I said. Do you want to be correct or you want to be progressive? As a Nigerian, if you are still complaining that there is no internet, there is no electricity, you are not ready to go far in life. Why am I saying so? You were born to see it. You have lived in it. And unfortunately, to be very frank, the body language of the present government doesn't look like it will fix. I'm not here to throw religious terms, oh, God will help us. I'm talking about reality. And even the body language of the people aspiring to rule or to lead us in the coming years doesn't look like they are going to fix the power problem in Nigeria in a long run. So what do you have to do as an entrepreneur in the third world country? You need to take cognizance of these things and fix your personal infrastructure. In my house, let me sound religious now. By the grace of God, I have at least unlimited internet and almost 24 hours electricity. What does that do to me? It makes me more effective than any other Nigerian. Why don't I sit down, go on Facebook, and still complain, there's no light at shelter, there's no light at so part of the world, and NEPA has taken our transformer. Is that a problem? Yes, it is a problem. But what would I do going on to be able to compete globally? I have to fix those infrastructural gaps. So while we are waiting for the government to have pity on, at this point, would I say us or them? Because I think I've been able to escape that to an extent. So while we are waiting for the government to fix this, you need to take personal responsibility and fix those infrastructural gaps. Someone said something jokingly on Twitter. He said, in Nigeria, everyone is the local chairman of, is the local government chairman of his house. And that's true. We provide our security. We provide our food. At most cases, we fix our roads. So,
okay. Okay. I do have quite a lot to say, but we need to wrap it up. But then basically you have actually talked in a nutshell about the approaches, because we're talking about, better ways that our businesses and entrepreneurs can survive better. And if we have to deduce from what you've said so far, it's all about taking responsibility. But I was about to, put up some argument by saying, oh, what about those who may not be able to navigate these challenges better than you have? But maybe that'll be a conversation for another day. And at that time, we'll probably have a government representative that we can banter on this on. But then,
but before we even banter with the government representative, again, I think we should stick to that word. Do we want to be correct? We want to be progressive.
Okay.
A government representative can come and say a lot of policies that is making us not to have these, some political anything, and that could sound correct. But are we progressing? No, we are not.
Okay. So, if we have a point to pick out of everything we've said so far, it's a question. Do you want to be correct and realistic, or do you want to find a way to progress and, compete favorably with other members of other parts of the world? Where as a small business owner and entrepreneur in Nigeria, well, it's up to you to find an answer to that. Where at this time, it's time to say our goodbyes and our appreciation and thanking you for being a part of the show. But first, I need to say a big thank you to our guests. I did mention we did do some miracles backstage and it came out good. Mr. Etido Paul, who is a personal brand and business consultant and also a new media specialist. Yeah. So I want to say thank you again and hope we'll have the honor of having you visit the studio again.
It's always a pleasure.